Welcome all. Last video I showed you the two gimbals that I'm now sort of predominantly using, which are the Crane 3S and the Smooth 4. I didn't show any video from the Smooth 4 at the time because I had a bit of an idea to try something out, which I've got one of these cheaper manky Glidecam clones, small version, and I was just curious to see how that would work with the Smooth 4 gimbal itself, given that a lot of people try out using gimbals and Glidecams, especially those who use the Steadicam vests and things like that. And so I did that, and I produced a short video back at Mossvale Park as my usual sort of testing ground, clomping around in gumboots across rocks and branches and things like that, just to see the difference between the two. So I'll show that video now, and then I'll just talk a little bit more about how I set this thing up and what I actually did. Okay, now that's the video. Now what I basically did was take the tripod obviously off the gimbal itself and attach the foot that, or the plate that comes with the Glidecam. Attach that into the Glidecam itself. Now I've done this a few times so that I've got a rough idea where it should be positioning itself. And basically, hopefully that's now set. Not quite. This is one of the things with Glidecams, is that every time you attach and detach something, there's always a chance of balancing just going completely off, and you're having to do all sorts of things for it. Now, that is more or less statically balanced now. That is, it sort of sits there upright, doesn't sort of wobble or twist over elsewhere. The usual way of testing the balancing point is you just lift it horizontal and let it drop, 1 and 2, and so about a 2-second drop means that you've got it reasonably set up for a static balance. Now the dynamic balance is what also often throws people off, and what that means is that when you spin your Glidecam around like that, it starts to oscillate and wobble around, and that is what is the most difficult thing for a lot of people to balance. And you can spend hours and hours trying to get weights at the bottom appropriately positioned. Now you might notice there, my weights are separated across. They're not equally balanced or positioned on the plate at the bottom. That's because I have to compensate for what's at the top. And it's too much to explain. I'm not going to go into it because I'm not really much of a Glidecam fan anyway. But there are videos out there that explain how to balance these things, and there's a couple of really good ones by professionals who are in the film industry. But even those videos, watching them and their explanations of how to balance these things are really an indication that get a gimbal before you get one of these things. People love these because of the lack of batteries and whatever, as I explained in the previous video. But this is just so much easier to use and balance. Now, so what I did at Mossvale Park for the video that you just saw, I did one clip with just the gimbal itself, with my little tripod handle on there, and then I repeated the same walk with this Glidecam attachment to it, and I just basically held the system just like that, did some normal walking, and just do a comparison. Now, at the end of the day, I really can't see a great deal of difference, if anything at all, between the two. Big difference I note is that this is a lot heavier to carry around, still considerably lighter than the Crane 3S and Pocket 4K combination, but it just doesn't seem to me to add anything benefit-wise to it. Even when you do things like this, where you can move the thing around, you know, you get the feeling, oh yeah, I'm doing something special, but really you can pretty much do that just with the gimbal itself. There might be a few effects where you can get the Trinity sort of effect where you can move in and out of windows and things like that, but that's really the only advantage I think you can get with it. So I really don't think that that really makes any benefit whatsoever for the gimbal. I've got it, I can balance it, and I can do everything else with it, but I don't really favour it all that much. So I just thought I'd put that out there. As a matter of interest, nothing serious or anything like that. I've got something coming up down the track in the next week or so, hopefully, that will change some perceptions about gimbals and moving about with them. Something has been already done in some circumstances, but I'm doing something just a little bit different, which I've only seen one other person so far do, so that should be interesting, hopefully, if I can get it to work the way that I'm hoping I can. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say today, and I'll just say cheers.